Hey guys, for today's video we are gonna be doing it in a slightly different format. Instead of the usual vlog where I am capturing audio in real time as I am filming, today's vlog is gonna be recorded separately. This is because I am not always able to or prepared to speak or capture any audio even though I have amazing footage at the moment, as it so happened during my recent trip to Dubai. Now, that brings us to today's topic. What was Dubai like? I'll start with the highlight of my trip, the ride around the desert on a rented KTM EXC450. The bike review will come in due time, so I will just comment on the ride itself. Me and my family, we took a beginner tour that would mostly involve light dunes with less rocks. However, the word beginner in the package was kind of an understatement. Unless you were already riding dirt beforehand, you would not even be able to ride at all. Unlike drier mud and hard-packed soil most people are used to, if you do not go fast on your bike in the desert, you would just start to sink into the ground and get stuck if you were trying to move off. Or if you were trying to ride in a straight line, the bike would start to lose traction and fishtail all over the place if you move slowly instead of pinning the throttle and going as fast as possible. I personally spent a lot of time falling because I hit a tiny rut that would usually be no big deal on harder mud. Even worse was all the time accidentally digging myself in the ground while moving off and having to pull the bike out of the sand. However, the time spent riding in the desert was an eye-opening experience, and I highly recommend anyone who is interested in off-road riding to at least try it out once in their lifetime. It is absolutely unlike any other kind of terrain out there. Now let's move on to my actual observations of driving in Dubai itself proper. Now, I realized that for some reason when I'm with other drivers, they do say that please do not sleep in the front passenger seat. It appears that, for the front passenger, if you fall asleep, it's a finable offense, which I kind of find that a bit funny because this is usually not a finable offense in pretty much almost the entire world. But for some reason in the UAE it is. Another observation that I made about riders, especially in the UAE, is that almost everybody there rides with a full face helmet and at least some form of long sleeve shirt. I mean, the quality of the helmets and the kind of jackets they are using might be questionable from the way I see it, but at least it's something compared to Singaporeans who mostly only choose to ride with a brain bucket or three-quarter helmet. And this makes me think that either Singaporeans are either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid as riders sometimes. But well, Dubai riders, props up for you. However, the drivers in Dubai are probably a lot worse than the kind we see in Singapore. I mean, I'll give them the fact that Dubai drivers are really skilled. They've got some insane driving going on right there. However, almost all of them drive with phones in their hands, never signal. They love to ride up your ass and tailgate you, and especially during the Ramadan period where everybody is hot, thirsty, hungry and impatient. It's been said that accident rates really skyrocket in Dubai and pretty much all the other Emirates in the UAE. Let's go on to the weather. In Dubai, most people think that the weather is gonna be extremely hot because it's in the desert, it's part of the Middle East, and to some extent it is true, but after being there for a week, you kind of realize it's not that much hotter than, say, Singapore or Jakarta. Because yes, the temperatures do actually soar a lot higher. You can get as much as 38 degrees even during the autumn and winter periods. However, as long as you stay out of direct sunlight and if you are in direct sunlight, you choose to wear loose clothing that covers yourself from head to toe, then it's not a big issue. Most of the heat comes from direct sunlight touching your skin, whereas in countries like Singapore and Jakarta, we may have lower temperatures on the scale. However, the humidity is what kills us over here. Now, Dubai's districts are extremely segregated by race and nationality. So, for example, while Jumeirah is where the rich Arabs, yellows and white expats stay in their little bubble, Deira, where I was staying in during my time there, it's mostly made up of the poorer immigrants like Indians, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, African traders and East Slavic people, because it is mostly a trading district. Another thing I've noticed is that the UAE also really takes care of its own citizens. There are no poor Emiratis, only rich ones because of policy. Now, for example, if you wanted to start a business in the UAE, you would have to have a local citizen partnered with you. You cannot start a business yourself. So what most Emiratis do would be they would offer their name, they would give you full control of your company as long as you pay them a significant portion, maybe about $1,000-2,000 per year, just for them to provide you the name and let you legally run a business in the UAE. So pretty much almost every Emirati that wouldn't have to work if they chose to, and out of those that do choose to work, most of them go into the civil service where only citizens are allowed to work. And in the civil service, salaries are not low. Those jobs have extremely high salaries. For example, a lowly police officer that has just graduated from school and has absolutely no work experience can expect to draw anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 at the minimum for a monthly salary. That is amazing compared to Singapore, where the government always places Singaporeans last and foreigners on the pedestal. It's quite shocking to me when I was there. Another thing about Dubai is that the metro is easy to navigate and a super cheap way to get around at about 22 dirhams for an unlimited day pass. Similar to Singapore, where we have our MRT, the only problem is they are a lot smaller and slower than Singapore's MRT cabins, but it's not an issue because Dubai is slightly smaller in scale when we're talking about their metro's reach compared to the MRT's network. Also, I realized that if you were to look around some of the streets, especially the poorer, seedier districts like Deira, where I was in, something did caught my eye, and it was all these little carts that were on the floor, and they were usually extremely brand new, and they would depict sexy, scantily clad women. Apparently, because as you know, Dubai is a Muslim emirate, so openly soliciting for sex or anything doing with the sex trade is of course illegal. So what they do is, the pimps would just throw these cards around the floor, and if somebody so happened to pick up those cards and call the number on it for a prostitute, then that is not soliciting, that is perfectly legal. So there. So Dubai is a pretty modern city. It's very flashy, it's big, it's got high towers, and it's an amazing place to go if you want to have a taste of the Middle East and not leave the comforts of a metropolitan city like Singapore, or if you came from New York or Tokyo. Now the thing is that to the average Singaporean, there's really absolutely no reason for you to stay longer than maybe say 3 days. Honestly speaking, I would recommend that most of you choose to do more activities in the desert, like the desert safari or camel rides or riding dirt bike over the desert dunes, and then enjoy the desert camp and watch belly dancers and fire dancers and, you know, those twirly guys. That's because those are things that you are never gonna experience in Singapore. However, if you want to choose a more city-based experience where it's comfortable, there's a lot of things to do. There is the Burj Khalifa, there is the Wal Wadi and the Palm Jumeirah, where there's, you know, water parks, and there's Ski Dubai if you want to try your hand at skiing, and there's the Dubai Mall for shopping, high-end shopping. The thing is that most of these theme parks you could probably, you know, get that experience closer to home if you wanted to. If you wanted to do your shopping at Dubai Mall, well, yes, they do not have any taxes on the luxury goods there. You could probably get the prices even lower back home in Singapore. I believe so, because honestly speaking, Singapore is where the shopping mecca is, not Dubai, because we do import a lot of things that even Dubai does not have. And, you know, Orchard Road is probably a better outlet if you really want to get luxury products anyway. However, it is something to consider if you do want to go somewhere that looks posh and upmarket compared to Orchard Road, which is starting to show signs of age by now. So there we have it. That was my recommendation on what you can expect out of a trip to Dubai, and my recommendation on what you should actually be doing there. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and you haven't already subscribed to my channel, do hit the subscribe button down below, and you haven't already hit the bell icon to be notified of any new videos that I'm coming up with, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. Bye bye.